credit remediation, micro mortgage financing, down payment assistant, credit builder assistant, and agent matching. Tonight's topic is a new perspective as an entrepreneur with our guest speaker, Adonius Johnson. Here's a short bio. Mr. Johnson is a successful entrepreneur, author, self-empowerment coach, and self-help teacher. Mr. Johnson is the creator and author of the book, I Am My Life Coach. Mr. Johnson believes by investing in human capital, you are able to make an impact in the individual's life and develop them into a powerful leader. Mr. Johnson hosts a weekly podcast on Facebook and YouTube entitled The Mighty Monday Meltdown every Monday at 7 p.m. and also The Rude Awakening every Saturday at 3 p.m. So without further ado, our guest speaker, Mr. Johnson.
What's going on, everybody? Peace and blessings on this Wednesday evening. I'm so honored and grateful to be here, to be able to present to you a new perspective on entrepreneurship. I want to first just say a few things before I even get started. And I speak a little different, so expect something different. You're going to probably need your pencils out, your pens out. At the end, I guess we're going to do some open live questions and things as such, because I feel that, in order to make a yourself up and build a relationship. Unfortunately, I don't really have a relationship with you guys. So I have to use the relationship that I have with myself in order to show you what genuineness looks like, what peace looks like, right? As well as what prosperity looks like. So I look to build a solid foundation that you guys, we can talk on, we can communicate back and forth on, and we can come up with this new perspective to entrepreneurship. If you think about a new perspective, then it have to be an old perspective, right? The old perspective based on where we at right now is entrepreneurship, is owning your own business, owning your own house, so you can live your best life. And that's a beautiful thing. But there's a lot of pieces that's missing. There's a lot of pieces that's missing to the puzzle. It's just like Monopoly. You need 3 or you need 2, depending on the area you're trying to build in order to be able to build. You need to own something. I love the fact that a couple of people recommended me to this broadcast, which I have listened to many a times on building wealth. But what I'm intrigued by with this particular podcast and this particular group is the actual title itself. My Turn to Own. My Turn to Own is very interesting because it just reminds me, what are you owning? You owning, it's a lot of things that we need to step up and own too. So right now, this is your time to own some good information. This is your time to own your position on a wealth team. This is your time to own up to things you never owned up for. If we don't change the perspective, then we're never going to get nothing different. So I look to change the narrative, but I don't look to agree with the way some of you guys think. I look to challenge the way you think, because the only way we're going to get something different is to be challenged or to be placed in a situation that, or a crisis that allows us to use our God-given features, which is intuition, in order so we can build something, right? There's a lot of different things that I want to touch on and I want to tap on, but I have to journey through myself first. So we're going to look at what we have built up. What I look to do is break it down so that we can have a build out, and then we can have a breakthrough. A lot of us have the wrong concepts in place. I look to give you a concept throughout this broadcast. That concept is I Am My Life Coach. It's a self-awareness tool that I created for myself, and it was developed in the darkest hours in my life personally. I Am My Life Coach is it's a communication that allowed me to talk to myself and ground myself. I started out south side of Chicago, going to school for computer engineering, was my major, went to Chicago State. Later, I furthered my education in public speaking at DePaul. So I continued to, take classes and things like that to brush up on a few of my skills. But I don't look to present that to you. What I look to present to you is a real person. As you heard in the bio, right? I believe in investing into human capital. Human capital is people. I believe in investing into you. Until you invest into you, then that's where the real wealth is located at. But right now we are under human era. And I want to look to change the human era that we're under. So let me journey with you as you journey with me, and let me take you to a few areas. And I won't speak that long, but I will open it up because I can go many different ways with this conversation that we having right now, right? But it's pure. So let me journey you to how my life took flight and what forced me into entrepreneurship back in 1997. So that's me leaving high school. And I was looking to make my way into entrepreneurship, owning my own businesses and things, but it did not start that way. I started out working different jobs, 9 to 5s, and, looking to pay my way through school and looking to continue so I can, have me a family, raise my children, just like anybody else. Let's get straight to it. Raised on the South Side, you tend to find yourself at the wrong place at the wrong time. If you can find yourself in the wrong place at the wrong time, then you can also be in the right place at the right time. I believe this is the right time for you to make this shift. I believe that this is a good time for you to build a new platform, to ground yourself so that you can have something to leverage out your ideas of owning your own home or owning your own business, which will be part of the new perspective. Me getting caught in a little legal trouble, and I'm gonna be honest with you guys, $40 was my getting caught in a legal trouble. And my legal troubles landed me, not that I had to go to jail or anything, it's just the type of case that it was, dealing with someone else. And with that particular case, it scarred me and it marked me. Being that it was a non-expungible case, I carried that case on my back for now 20-something years. But just to go back to 1997, movement was when the case happened. 1999 is when I had bad legal representation, plead guilty. And that's advice, the advice we take today from family, from friends, from people around you, even people that you put your trust into, like police officers. They're sworn to protect the people. So I'm thinking, hey, police said just plead guilty, you're a young guy, put it all behind you. I'm fresh out of high school trying to go to college. Well, I continued with college and come to find out when I finished the beginning part of the association and receiving several different certifications, I wasn't able to hold a job. No job will hire me. So I constantly looked around. I'm qualified computers. I was over excelling in a lot of my classes and things like that, but I could not get a job at all, right? And so what ended up happening is in my quiet time, in my dark time, I was left to talk to myself. This is when my first conversation actually happened with myself. And I said, it wasn't nothing wrong with me. There's a system, and my problem is with the system. But you will never win against a system if you don't create a system. So that's where the rebuilding process will start for me as well as for you right now. Right now, I'm journeying, and this is a timeline. So I'm asking that you guys be open, right? And enable your ears, because you're going to hear something. And I don't know what it's going to take for you and your pieces to your puzzle. Everyone in this room is here meeting up because we have goals. Our goals are different. Our vision is different. Our direction is different. There's people that have experience versus people with no experience. There's people that's educated versus people that don't even have a GED. What am I saying? We all come from different backgrounds. And you must understand, it doesn't matter if you're black on the outside or purple on the outside. All that's going to matter at this moment is what you going to do, what you here for. It's your turn to own this spot, this position. This is what's going to be used to elevate you to your next level. So for me, going back on this timeline, I recognized there was a problem with the system. So I didn't choose to go sell drugs. That wasn't my thing. To go rob, that wasn't my thing, right? Family was there, but there was no support, broken school system. So I only learned what it is that they taught. I don't know how to handle my own self because when I go home, I had a broken home, right? Only my mom was doing the best she can. So when you have these different things, what am I talking about now when I say family and when I say the community and schools? I'm talking mental abuse, right? Abnormal use of the mind. Abuse, abnormal use, right? So you just take the word, put it together, abuse, mental abuse. Physical abuse, that's based on the things we eat, the things we do. We abusing the privileges. This is my turn to own right now. I'm going to own up to everything that has me at this point because I recognize by the time I get done with this particular lecture and this particular talk is what I'm looking to give you right now, that you gonna know some things you need to do to move forward right now. So we talking mental abuse, we talking physical abuse, and then you have spiritual abuse. And why I say spiritual abuse is because you think that's the only place you can go for free, right? No medical, you got to get what you can get however you can get it. But ignorance is expensive. I didn't know this. I had to find this out. That's why I'm here to tell you about all these particular things. So I started creating me different types of businesses, right? A business, here's one of the things you want to write down. When you want to be an entrepreneur, first thing you need to ask is what people are going to ask you. What's your name and what do you do? Becoming very sharp at this, it actually taught me how to communicate, right? Because I recognized that I will be talking to clients and customers. So it started with $35. Anybody that ever asked me, it might be cheaper now, but they ever asked me, how do you start a business? How do you start do I apply for a loan? Do I do credit? You start with a business card because you need to learn how to give something to someone and allow someone to take something from you, right? You need to learn how to give and also how to receive, how to conduct a conversation and understand what exactly is it that you're trying to get this person to connect with you on. What am I really saying? This is actually relationship. You build a relationship based on how well you can stay connected to someone. So if you can't connect to them, then they definitely need to connect to you. It has to be an open relationship, but we have not got to the point of relationship yet. These are a thought right now. I'm in a thought, right? There's a level that goes below relationships that we fell on. From opening up the different businesses throughout Chicago is where I started at. I started with beauty salons. I opened up 3 beauty salons, 2 barbershops. I had tow truck company. I had moving company. I did junking cars. I did rehabs. I bought buildings. I sold buildings. I did quick flips. I did tenants where I was receiving rent. All this money started pouring in. I started buying cars and Maseratis and boats and all these particular things. And truth be told, I did not use credit at all. I was paying cash straight out for things because you only can do what you was taught. And the one who was teaching me was me. So that's why when you heard in the biography, it says I'm a self-help teacher, because I literally taught myself. Well, let's pause right here and let's call a timeout. I do this on a Mighty Monday Meltdown. The timeout is on the battlefield. The battlefield is called life. Whose life? Your life. So we changing the narrative right now. So we on the battlefield and we got in a timeout, which is a huddle. And when you call a timeout, that's on titles, right? That's on titles, that's on roles, meaning cousin, uncle, father, brother, mother. This is about ownership. Let's go back to the title. My turn to own. It's your turn to own. But in order to own anything outwardly, you must first own everything inwardly. You have to own the idea in order to manifest the idea. You have to own the thought of how you want to be in a marriage in order to be the perfect spouse for the marriage. You have to own what type of house you want to have, because with that, whatever it is you buy, you have to be good over the things that it takes in order to maintain this. This is a lot of stuff that we do not see. So let me just journey you back. We're in a timeout right now. And I told you we're on a timeline. So I started opening up all these businesses and getting all these things. And in 2012 is when I had my rude awakening. On Saturdays, I do a broadcast, and it's called The Rude Awakening. My teaching is geared around personal development, personal growth, and self-empowerment. And you're about to find out why I believe that I've been sent back here to you guys to talk about personal development, personal growth, and self-empowerment. And that's what ties into my turn to own in this wealthy, as they said earlier, this wealthy Wednesday. So wealth comes in many forms, but before we become wealthy, we must first become healthy. I got this on right now, as you will begin to see. I am my life coach. Mental Health Month is celebrated through the month of May, right? So I'm a mental health advocate, and you're going to find that out in a second. And so as time generated in 2012, on my way to my business to open up one of my many stores, because at this time I started opening up business in other states, because whatever you can do one time, if you can do it 2 times, then you can double that and do it 4 times. And 4 is 8, and 8 goes on to 16, 16 goes on to 32, and then 32 goes on to 64, and 64 goes on to 128. I used to go all the way up to almost in the thousands, because this was my business plan. I never wrote anything down. I never applied for a loan at that point. It was just me and the idea. So I always married my ideas, right? And so what ended up happening, moving on this journey, is life took off so quick that one day I was on my way to the business and I never made it inside the door. I collapsed going into the business. When I collapsed going into the business, I woke up 5 days later. I went into a 5-day coma. Inside of this coma, I was not in my body. I was actually on the other side, called the afterlife. In the afterlife, the things I was hearing was, who did I bring with me? I said, well, God, I didn't know I'm not supposed to bring anybody with me. You know, I was told just to get to you. So I'm here. So I don't even want to go back. I'm good, right? How comfortable is that to get to a point in life, which is what we're trying to do on this side, where we're trying to get to a point where some of us don't have to work, some of us don't have to do anything. And I'm here to tell you, here's the rude awakening, that's the first lie you can tell to yourself. None of us will live a life with kick feet up. Even though that's what we create the opposite of what we want. What am I saying? We want this, but we live that. We want better, but we live in the worst. What am I saying? It's a mindset. So inside of this meeting with God for these 5 days, he stated that he was sending me back. When he sent me back, I said, well, my argument was, you don't know what you don't know. That's something you want to write down. You don't know what you don't know. To not know something is the word called ignorant. Ignorant means the thought of not knowing. My mom always used that word early on, but it was used different, but more in a bad language way. Like, that's an ignorant, and whatever she chooses to put on the end. So we kind of run, in my household, we understood what she was stating, but it wasn't ever given to us in a way that makes you understand. To be ignorant is to be unaware. And many of us, we are unaware of ownership, are unaware of the power and the potential that resides inside of us. We're unaware because we look for everyone else to teach us something, but you never look for yourself to teach yourself anything. So every time something happened in your life, we always use the same slogan: you live and you learn. When do you learn? Then you can live. And I believe that's what we can do today. We can live. We can learn so that we can live the way we choose to. And that starts by being my turn to own. My turn to own up for everything that I did not teach myself, right? We wanted pastoral, spiritual leaders to teach us. So we allowed them to teach us in the spirit. We wanted schools to teach us when it comes down to a skill. We wanted the man to be in the house to teach us, if he was there, to how to be a man. If a woman was there, how to be a lady. We want everyone else to teach us. And the greatest teacher of all was you. Why you didn't teach yourself? That was the biggest question, right? So I said, God, you don't know what you don't know. He said, well, then you go back and teach them. So I came back into this world thinking, oh, wow, everybody asking me these questions. What happened? What's going on, right? It didn't stop there. When your eyes come open, everything that you thought you knew, you really did not know, right? I have been in 5 psych wards since that coma, 2 failed suicides since that coma. And what am I saying to you? I'm saying to you, when you see things different, you need to do things different. It's no sense to be sitting on one side, wanting to be on the other side, but not wondering, but still ain't put together why I can't get over here. I can tell you why you haven't got over there. Because you have to build something. You have to build a path. Some of you, you need to build a window. Some of you, you need to build a door. You need to build another way. That's why my broadcast, I call it the alternate route, because for you, I'm going to take you today, the alternate route, right? With every business that I had up until that point went upside down. No one stepped in, no one showed up. The store, my brother shut down a lot of my uniform stores. It was too much, overwhelming. People said I had this episode, you know, and when you're trying to get information, we like to get information for people that's not even credible when it comes down to resources, right? That's why I love relationship. You see, when you connect to someone, you have to register. There has to be a description. And I'm going to close this up so we can get to where I'm at right now, this door that I have open. And so during this suicidal thing and, you know, I was shipped away from family. So when I say the point of no return, I guess that's why I wanted to come and speak to this particular group of people. I don't have a problem with you having wealth. I don't have a problem with you want to own, but I don't want you to go through the things that I went through. I don't want you to go there because I've been there. And when I've been there, it wasn't because I wanted to be successful. I was successful. But if you ask me, was I happy? And what made me, and what does that look like? You will not hear me talk about me. You wouldn't hear me talk about the relationships that I now have. You wouldn't hear me talking about the way I listen now, the things I look for now. I'm still self-taught, so I never got away from self-awareness. I believe that there's some things that we need to do before we get relationship is we need to build a foundation. I told you, a lot of us have walls built up that we need to break down, but we need a build out, right? So we can have a breakthrough. And one of the ways we can do that is through ownership, owning everything that involves your life right now. There's valuable people that surround you. There's valuable people that has resources that you don't have. There's people that's having conversations like the one we have right now that you can actually type into the chat and somebody will respond back to. There's people you can email that'll email you back. These is the relationships that we should be connecting into. Unfortunately, we still holding on to relationships we had back in grammar school, high school, back to uncles and aunties and cousins that do not have a job description. And this is one of those things when Christ actually says to be born again. To be born again, meaning at this point, my eyes is open and I choose the family that I choose to participate in. So what ended up happening, I was shipped to California. That's where the whole invisible crown started. When he gave me the invisible crown, I was building myself back up. Reading every day in the closet, reading all type of books, right? Saying, you know what, I can never let this happen again. At this point, I literally wrote off, right? Sent there to Cali a one-way ticket. And I know some of you feel like you was wrote off or left behind or X out, put out, exile, however you want to call it. I get that's called separation. But when you're in a period of separation, he's also covers you with something called isolation, right? Isolation is what you're going to do now. And for many of us, we are in this what you're going to do now. So I started writing. I started a company, but I was scared to open up any business. After 2 years, I made my way back to the same city that broke me. That's Chicago. I applied for a corporation. I started a corporation. It's called the Invisible Crown Incorporated. It's a coaching firm, and we deal basically on mental health, of course, self-awareness, which is what I love, personal development, personal growth, self-empowerment. Because if you can't talk about you, then, you know, nobody else will. You know, it's okay for you to talk about Michael Jordan, Oprah. It's okay for you to talk about everybody else, TD Jakes. But why do you struggle when it comes down to talking about you? You see, my time to earn on this is the new perspective on entrepreneurship, because you are the human capital. If people gonna be changed, it will be by you. If your life if you're gonna do something different in your life, you must first be something in order to become something. Many of us don't know what we are right now. We don't know the role we play right now. So I look to ground you in this time out right now, ground you on what you want to do versus what it is you actually doing right now. You see, we put the power on what we want instead of who we want to become. So if we constantly look at what we want, I want the 800 credit score. We got that part, but why you have a 400 credit score? We got to address that first. We want the nice house, right? But yet we can't take care of this house that you live in right now. You see, new perspective. What goes out has to come back in first, right? So this is where I'm tearing everything down at right now, because we have to get to the core. We have to get to the core. Remember, a tree didn't just come a tree and produce fruits. It had to start as a seed. In order to become something, you must first be something. Many of us, we have to locate where we currently at in order to make a move. Mental Health Month is next month. I want to let you guys know I'm Adonius Johnson. I'm the creator of I Am My Life Coach. It's a mental health self-awareness tool that you can say to yourself, and I guarantee you, the more you say it, the more your transformation will begin to take place. So let's continue to move forward. We at the half point. I only got like maybe 10 minutes left in this particular election. Then we'll open it up, and we can go from there. But I wanted to say this part is that when I came back and I started the Invisible Crown organization, I didn't have no money. All the businesses was gone. The cars and things was gone, right? Imagine that, losing all, but finding out who I am was very, very important. Right now, I walked into Methodist churches. I walked into Catholic churches. I literally had to sleep outside because mental health is so real that the medicine they prescribe. I was in a straitjacket. I was on the news, right? 2 failed suicides. So I tried, had the gun, wouldn't let nobody in. They had SWAT teams on the building and stuff like that because I'm seeing things. What am I saying? Some of you, mental health, you seeing a vision, aren't you? You seeing your dreams, right? Let's be clear. It's many things you desire to have in life, but when you open up your eyes, somehow this contradicting picture, your bank account don't reflect what you know you should have right now. That means there's more to this story. There's more to this walk. And I'm glad that whatever got you on this broadcast got you at the right place at the right time, because without no you, there'll be no me. Without no cops, there'll be no robbers. Without no doctor, there'll be no patient. So you must understand that if you thirsty, then water will quench the thirst. If you hungry, then food will quench the hunger. So wherever you at right now in this thing called life, you need information, which will be knowledge. But knowledge is one thing, right? Knowledge is one thing. A lot of times in my book I wrote, is knowledge power? I asked children, is knowledge power? They know. No, it's not power. It's potential power. It only becomes power when it becomes organized. For others, you might don't need knowledge. You need understanding. Understanding is comprehension. And for many of us, I told you there's different groups of people that's on different levels on this broadcast right now. So let me just do this little reroute in the room for those that came on late. Some of the things I might say, you got 3 ways you can look at it. One, you accept what I'm saying, that will challenge what you do, that might make the biggest difference. One change changes everything. One thing changes everything. It might not be for you. It might be for somebody connected to you, right? 2, you can neglect what I'm saying. That means you can hear it, but if you're not using the information, then you are being entertained by the information. One person that knows how to read that don't read has no advantage over somebody that don't know how to read at all. We have skills. We have things that was given that we need to owning the ability to be able to use these ears to hear effectively. When you communicate effectively, what you see effectively, you have to start inside. It's an inside job. I Am My Life Coach is an inner concept. I have to drill this thing in within these next 6 minutes. It's an inside job. So coming back to Chicago, as I make my way back to Chicago, I began to write a book. I wrote out all the notes and the things that I saw. The book is entitled I Am My Life Coach. I Am My Life Coach is a book that you cannot jump around in. You have to start from the start to the finish. It's almost like tuning up anything, your mind. We neglected the mind more than anything else. I don't need no more information. I need to apply the information that it is that I have. And that's what many of us needs to do. Apply the information, use the information to get what? Results. So it's about the results. I wrote this book, I Am My Life Coach, and I was my first patient, and I continue to be my first patient. If I'm gonna be a leader, you will follow me because I'm leading myself, not because I want you to follow me. I think there's always going to be somebody watching you. God can use you when you become you. For many of us, we have not manifested ourselves, which is called self-manifestation. We have resembled everything and played out what we saw somebody else do, what we saw our parents gave us. That's what put us in sin, which is ignorance, the thought of not knowing. So we act out what someone else put out. But for us, we have to identify what we learned. You can write this down. Self-realization is what you learn. And now you got to get over to the next step, which is unlearning it. That's self-discovery. Discovering the fact that there's more to you. You just never had an opportunity. You never came forth with it. You never realized that this is on me now. This is my turn to own my voice. This is my turn to speak for what it is I desire to have and what it is that I need to do. So you learn, you unlearn, and now it's time for what? To relearn, to relearn. So let me put you back together now. That's self-recovery. To recover something means mental. To recover something, that's understanding. To recover something is to realize that, you know what? I have another chance at this thing called life. And that's what I did. I walked through every step that I'm telling you. And I put my life literally back together with no money, no loan. I got good friends, and I realized that people might didn't need me as their friend. Here's my tips. People might don't need me as my friend, but I need them. And me knowing exactly what I need and the type of people I need, moving around, the type of group I need to be in, it required me. You can't be two places at one time. You can't go forward and backwards at the same time. You can't have prosperity and still be stuck looking at poverty at the same time. You can't look at what you don't have and then sit here and wonder why you ain't got nothing new, because your focus only can be at one place at one time. And right now, I'm asking you to take all your focus and put it only on you. And now the title makes sense to you now. It's my turn to own everything that got something to do with me. My conversations, my opportunity, my bank account, my money, my house, and the people that's sitting here giving you these friendships. I need more than to be a client. I need to be, they offering friendships right now. Personal friendships is part of wealth. So I told you, before you come wealthy, you must first be healthy. Healthy what? Mentally. Healthy what? Physically. Healthy what? Spiritually. Healthy what? Emotionally, right? There's something called emotional intelligence. But you just can't allow people to be human beings and go doing whatever they feel like, right? And then wonder why you never have no results. You only can do what you have always done until something new come about. Ground yourself today. Ownership, which is I Am My Life Coach. I Am My Life Coach. Anything that starts with the I am is the most powerful words that's working together that bring forth power. What I like about my turn to own is almost like saying my right here. I am, that's God. I am what? My is ownership. So if you have a phone, this is my phone, meaning I'm owning what it is that's mine, right? I'm owning my place in society. I'm owning my position in this marriage or in this relationship. So I Am My Life Coach is about ownership. Once you establish the foundation, which is I Am My Life Coach, that's you. Nobody can argue with that. The next level is relationship. That's what we had to tear down. Relationship. Relationship is cousin that don't have a title, uncle that don't have a title, auntie that don't have a title. All these titles didn't come with no description. So you didn't know what you're supposed to get, because it's on you to determine what you provide, what you give, right? It's not what you receive, it's what you give. The tree is inside of the seed. The man is inside of the boy. The woman is inside of the girl. You have to grow into who you are becoming. And that's what mental health is. How do you stay mentally healthy? By first owning yourself. Everything you do is a market. People will buy from you when they can trust you being you. Many of the times you don't have to sell anything. You just have to understand who you are and recognize you're going to always be taken care of. But you have to first change the narrative, change your position. And every position around you will change, from your family to your children to the people that surround you. You are the one that will make everything around you become better. But if you don't change the way you're looking outwardly and start looking inwardly, you're going to miss this thing. First level, ownership. Second level, relationship. Third level, communication. Effective communication. Communicate with your money. Communicate with anything that goes with money. Communicate with the fact that you don't even need money. Money is actually a tool to get you the things you desire to have. So it's more so not about the money you want. It's really about the lifestyle that you want to see yourself having. But you always got to make sure you stay grounded. Communication comes after relationship. You should know what you bring in to the relationship. Now it's communication. Next level will be manifestation, right? Oh, I'm sorry. Next level is transformation. Transformation is going from one point to another point. That's the caterpillar to the butterfly. But some of you never flew as a butterfly. So you have to learn all over again. There's many people on this broadcast. I met a few of them that own several businesses, that own several homes, that did what you're trying to do. For some of us, yes, you want your credit repaired, but we first got to own up to who messed it up, and why did you mess it up? I think ownership starts when you look at your life and be like, who did this? Like, I did this. I got all these medical bills. You're going to have many medical bills if you don't sit here and get this together, because they prescribed me medicine. I winged myself off the medicine myself. I started traveling, going to find neuro surgeons and doctors when they was having conferences. And I remember one conference they had downtown, and everybody was like, mental health is on the rise. Mental health is on the rise. And then at the end, you ask questions. Here go me with the microphone last. Did you guys ever take the medicine that you prescribed? Moment of silence. You prescribing something that you haven't took for yourself. You want somebody to own when you have not owned yourself. I took the medicine, so I know. I was in the psych ward, so I see. And that's the message that I come to convey to you right now. The truth will set you free, but the only thing it could set you free from is ignorance, the thought of not knowing. A lot of us is not crazy. We just don't know the power that we possess inside of us. This might sound like a sermon, but it's not. I'm nowhere near a pastor. But what I want to tell you, I am a transformation coach. After communication comes transformation. And after the transformation, manifestation. And once you are in your manifestation state, which is where we at right now, which is where we journey to right now, a lot of us won't change. But in order to have change, you need a system for change. Many of us won't change, but we don't have a system for change. We have to make room so that we can allow change to take place. I hope today, with some of the things that I'm bringing forth, can allow that change to take place where you see.
Ready? Okay. Sorry about that.
I hope that at this point, you can see with the information that I'm delivering, that you are allowing that change.
Oh, that's all.
I hope you can see at this point that the change that I'm delivering, you have to receive it. So I stated earlier, 1, you can accept what I'm saying, make some adjustments and some tweaks. One thing changes everything. 2, you can reject what I'm saying and just say, hey, that's not for me. That's fine. That's good. It might be for somebody connected to you. 3, you can neglect what I'm saying. And that means you got the information, you put forth the time. What's being delivered right now is a part of your foundation. It's a part of what you're trying to build. And I'm telling you something. We built walls up. A lot of us built walls up early on, and the walls we built up has us trapped. Those walls have to be broken down. Now we need to build it out. so that we can find what we need to have to break through. And once you break through what it is that was holding you, I don't think there's anything that you can accomplish. My book right now, I said, is in 14 different languages, 14 different formats, including Spanish, American Sign Language. It's in student edition. I'm right now doing work in Chicago Public Schools as a vendor. I don't just teach the children. I am my life coach. The same message is for the teachers. They need to be refreshed. I get the parents sometimes also, which is a bonus plus. What am I doing? I'm also giving myself, lending my time out. Now businesses done pop back up on my radar. I done started traveling. I'm at 26, 27 different countries. And when I go, I'm just watching environments. I'm watching what brings forth true happiness. Peace has to be built. Joy has to be built. The things we looking for is inside of you. You have to build the outlet that you're looking for. That's me right there. So the last thing in terms of question-wise, 5 things you want to do. This is my 5 tips for you. 1, vision. 2, mission. 3, goals. 4, strategy. 5, action plan. It has to go from up to bottom instead of going from bottom to up. Vision, mission, goals, strategy, action plan. That's my time in terms of the lecture I wanted to give you guys. I Am My Life Coach is available on Amazon as well as on www.IamMyLifeCoach.com and .org. Also have e-learning for I Am My Life Coach. I then came back with the clothing line, a transportation company. I own a couple of executive fleets and things as such, back into the real estate. So I started purchasing more properties, but I just hold on to them now because I never want to lose myself. I believe people will want to connect to you when you become you. And if you are a valuable person and you value who you are, you won't give yourself to anybody because that has value in it. It's wealth in being who you are. But if you keep chasing things, you're going to miss out on your true potential, which is inside of you guys. So I wanted to just reroute you, point you back. Hopefully I grounded you, gave you some tips. This is the action plan and all the way up to the vision of how this thing works, and tying it into my turn to own gives you the opportunity to own up to your failures as well as your accomplishments. Yeah. Any questions?
Thank you, Mr. Adonius Johnson. This
Thank
has
you.
been amazing. I'm just looking at everybody, those faces that I can see. Everyone is just staring. The comments start rolling in after everyone got to focus in and remember that they could make comments, because I think they were so enthralled in what you were saying. Thank you again, Ms. Patricia Cooper. We see you out there. She's one of our consistent Wednesday, Wealthy Wednesday Zoom people. We just want to acknowledge our staff that's on here. And Mr. Davis, I know you want to jump in, but before that, can we get Dr. Vicki Stokes? I think our sister, Dr. Vicki Stokes, had a comment. She was texting me while you were talking in tears.
Yes, everything you said today just resonated so deeply as it relates to my personal life and my professional life. I've been a principal in CPS for years. I've been since working with principals, coaching them nationally around social emotional development. So when I heard you say that you're a vendor and you work with the teachers and the students and the staff and parents, that is essential. And so I appreciate hearing that and knowing that for any of my future endeavors. I was just saying, man, how can there be a day where you're in front of every young man in the city of Chicago from ages, I mean, it should be from preschool, but that core group, literally from preschool, this should be a curriculum from preschool. But that core group mainly from about 15 up to about 30 in the city of Chicago, like a day of a call to action with additional, we need to multiply you. Like, how can we clone you and make you a mentor for every one of them, those 15 to 30-year-olds? And do you train others to do something like that?
Yes, I do. I do have a staff that I work with, and I do look to go into small organizations and again, bring forth the mental health tool. You know, it's trademarked. I Am My Life Coach is trademarked. When I saw the vision and it's still building out, and I thank you for your the words that you just spoke, but the vision that I saw was the transformation. And that's what I wanted everybody to see. Oh my God, I get emotional. The transformation. Don't allow your weakness to make you believe you have no strength. So I saw HIV awareness. I am my life coach. So I have began to start working in that direction. I saw breast cancer awareness. I am my life coach. It shouldn't be elf this. That's the wrong attitude. I didn't choose it. It chose me. But the fact that I can overcome this mentally, I am my life coach. It's an inner burst of power. It's an inner effect. So we went with suicide awareness. We went with mental health awareness. We went with autism awareness. Somebody approached me and they said, well, autism, how is this with autism? I said, it's not, is we talking about the child, or we talking about the parent, or we talking about the community, or we talking about the family? Then it clicked and they understood. We all need to find that power to ground ourselves so that we can be the beacon of light. Somebody always drawn on to you. Someone always feel what you're going through. You might not see it, but if you make the effort each and every day, even in scripture, it says, choose what you will serve. Are you going to serve your faith, or are you going to serve your fear? Are you going to serve prosperity, or are you going to serve poverty? That's the choice, but you can't serve both. And prosperity is not finances. It's actually everything that makes up your sense of being to make you who you are, which will tie into a whole lot of other stuff. So I'm grateful, and I would love to drop my information so that you can definitely have that. Because even with going into the schools, I didn't know that the schools were so separated and they operate in their own entity, where it's like you would think that it was just a domino effect, but trying to make the connections. And this is my third year into this arena as far as CPS goes. But, you know, I deal with I got right now, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th. You know, I love my high school students because we have to become the voice. And the voice is, I am my life coach. That's how we sums up everything. Treat each person, change the position, change the narrative. The students are the teachers, and the teachers, which will be us, has to become the students right now. And that's why we're learning wealth at this time. And what does that look like? What does that build out look like for you? That's why I say break down what you thought you knew, and let's have a build out so we can have a breakthrough. Because for some of us, communication could be what you need to have your breakthrough. Effective communication, effective listening. But some of us, we're not comprehending, but we need to recognize why we're not comprehending. You know, we can't learn from certain people. We might need to learn from someone else, but never stop going. Don't change the goal because something failed. You have to look at it from inner to outer to get what you need. You have to get what you need in order to put this thing together.
Thank you so much, Mr. Johnson. All this powerful information. We're just overjoyed that you're here with us. We have someone else who wants to come up and speak, Miss Christina Nash. Christina Nash.
Okay, I'm sorry. I was just trying to unmute. Thank you so much, Africa, for inviting me. Such a coincidence. I literally just signed up for my turn to own today. I finished the pack, and I had no idea. They talked about the calls, and then I hopped on, and Mr. Adonius Johnson, I mean, you just really blessed me. Accountability stood out for me. Owning it before you actually own it, right? It has to be a mindset first. You talked about, you want the house, but how do you treat the temple that you live in now? And that really stood out to me. It's just the mindset of wealth before we really attain it, because we can get the wealth, we can get the money, but we won't be able to sustain it if we don't have the right mindset behind it. And so that's what just personally for me, a part of my testimony, I had some money, I had this and that, but I just had a spending mindset. I didn't have the mindset of, okay, God, so I put the money here and the money multiplies and it does this, and I put this in that account and this in that account. I didn't have the plan. And so when you don't have the plan and you don't have the mindset, and you talked about just being ignorant, just not knowing, you know, you don't have the knowledge, you don't have the tools. And then you have programs like this where you can get in the know. But like you said, it's not about just knowing, it's about understanding and then the application. So I said, look, don't even send me the money until I understand what to do with the money. Because I mean, I just don't want to, you know, because I just don't want to blow through money. I don't want to be, you know, a bad steward of, you know, what God has given me, because it's a, you know, and I don't want to take that lightly. So now I'm enrolled in programs such as My Turn to Own, and things of that nature. And I would just love to follow you, Mr. Adonis, and just, you know, sign up for whatever you have as well, because it is just about that, you know, transformation and that accountability and all those steps that you named. I'm like trying to locate myself and where I'm at, you know, in that process, and then continue to grow through that process until I see what's on the inside manifest on the outside. And so I just want to thank you for your gift. Thank you for being obedient and sharing. And, you know, Africa, thank you for inviting me. And, you know, just everybody that serves at My Turn to Own, thank you for this platform. It's just such a wealth of information just right at our fingertips. Relationships are being established, like you said, friendships, and all those things are attached to wealth. So thank you so much. And I was really blessed on this evening.
Thank you so much, Miss Nash. We really appreciate you. All right, next up we have our very own Miss Sade Humphrey coming up. Miss Sade.
Thank you, Ms. Shanaze. I just want to say, especially to Mr. Johnson, that this really was motivational. I shed a few tears. I just want to say that it was a lovely, lovely conversation, and I loved everything about this call today, and I just want to thank him for that.
Thank you.
Yes, Mr. Adonis, everyone's asking for your contact information. How can we get in touch with you?
You can get in contact with me on Instagram at Adonius, Adon, and you have to put a U there. My mom spelled Adonis with a U. So it's Adonius Johnson. And you also can go on Facebook at Adonius Johnson as well. Like, again, I do YouTube, Adonius Johnson. I do the Mighty Monday Meltdown, which takes place every Monday in 7 o'clock hour. My number one priority is to make sure that people understand that if in this moment, it has to be about you. If you can't put your attention on you, then it's a problem. And I recognize that personal growth, somebody needs to make it about you, and that's your job. Personal development, somebody got to make sure you develop. That's your job. Self-empowerment, that's your job, to empower yourself. Motivation and education goes together. That's what I believe. That's what I know. A lot of times you see, we state as well, our children, oh, they don't seem motivated. They don't, because motivation and education goes together. When you get excited about what you do, then they will watch you get excited, right? But if you only going outside to the store or whatever, you know, there has to be a purpose in everything because somebody is watching you. You are on display. That's why I call it human capital. Human capital is the message you send into the world. What you're looking for in the world, you will never find because the world has to find it in you. Adonius Johnson at Instagram, as well as YouTube, Facebook, but also I Am My Life Coach as well. So make sure you follow I Am My Life Coach, which is on Instagram. I Am My Life Coach is also on YouTube as well as Facebook. And we looking to do something amazing is when I was in California, let's keep this in mind. The Spirit brought me not want to go back to. The place that hurt me, damaged me, is the place I had to come back to and now offer this seed. And this seed is I Am My Life Coach, birth from Chicago. So it's a mindset now. It's the accountability. Everything is wrapped inside of that. But we don't no longer have to walk around saying people need to be accountable. No, you need to be accountable. And that's just the ability to have an account to get what you need. Because what you need, somebody else is dependent on that. Whether that's your family, your children, your friends, your community, your church, whoever. They looking at how you gonna do it. It's your turn to own this at this point. No one else should be on a platform in your life other than the one who God is calling, and that is you. I Am My Life Coach. He's calling you to see what you gonna do now.
Wow, wow. Thank you so much, Mr. Adonius Johnson. This has been a powerful evening. Thank you all for being here with us again on another Wealthy Wednesday to receive this amazing information. We also want to let you all know that we are having a gala. We have a wealth gala coming up, and that will be on June the 9th. Here is the link. I'm just put that in the chat box. We are fundraising to go ahead and keep bringing these resources to everybody, keep bringing these powerful speakers to everyone, and also help with some down payment assistance for some people who are out here looking for that. So again, check out that link for our gala, which is called the Wealth Gala, because you know we're all about wealth, not only financially, but mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually, all of that. So thank you all for being here with us this evening. And you guys have a great night.
Good night,
Peace and
everybody.
blessings.
Thank you,
I
Mr.
am my life
Johnson.
coach.com.
Peace and
Whoever's
blessings.
asking about
I
the
Am My
book is
Life Coach.
IamMyLifeCoach.com.
Yeah, and it's also available